This week's US CQM Forecast Alert is inflation has started to rise in 2024 Q1. The Advance 2023 Q4 GDP was 3.28%, about 1% higher than the CQM and PCA forecast. The main reason for this is that ARIMA forecast of December exported goods and inventories for wholesalers and retailers were significantly lower than their actual figures. Advance 2023 Q4 GDP grew by 3.28%. Approximately 1% higher than CQM forecast on the expenditure side. The main reason is ARIMA's underestimation inventories and goods exports for December. CQM had forecasted using ARIMA that inventories for retailers would increase 0.08% in December. However, the actual value increased 0.82%. ARIMA forecast for December wholesale inventories was also lower than the actual figure. Based on census-based international trade, goods exports increased by 2.48% in December, well above the ARIMA forecast of 0.69%. CQM's forecast for inflation in 2023 Q4 was good, but what is noteworthy is that the downward trend in inflation has stopped in 2023 Q4 and it has bottomed out. This graph shows on the expenditure side, the economy is trending upward, while on the income side, the economic trend is forming a downward trend this year. This is a result of the rise in inflation entering 2024 Q1, which has a direct impact on the economic growth rate measured on the income side. However, the average economic growth rate on both the expenditure and income side is 1.83%. So, there are no concerns about a recession. This graph clearly shows that inflation has started to rise in 2024 Q1, although the inflation rate is still low. PCA forecasts economic growth to be 2.28% in 2024 Q1, which is almost the same as CQM forecast on the expenditure side. However, the GDP price deflator, reflecting the money supply and the effective exchange rate of the dollar in December, has a growth rate of 3.16%. PCA also shows that inflation has started to rise in 2024 Q1. Conclusion from this week's US CQM Forecast Alert. The first, the economic growth rate for 2024 Q1 is around 2%, and there is little concern about a recession. The second, inflation bottomed out in 2023 Q4 and has begun to rise in 2024 Q1. This slide contains additional information about this week's detailed CQM forecast and shows how to access the past US CQM Forecast Alert.